Excuse me. Can I quit this podcast?
I told Eddie Murphy to stay in college so he'd have something to fall back on. I did great advice. Direct from our new...
I think our guest wants to have a little fun with himself.
All right.
We wait?
No, we're going to start right now.
He could do it afterwards?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
okay.
do it afterwards. Direct from our new home at
I'm sure he'd love it if you helped.
Drake Media Studios.
Drake Media Studios.
Right here on Long Island, right in the middle of Long Island. Drake Media Studios, our new home. We love it.
Did you start? Is this the show?
Yeah, we started. This is
When you open the show, it never sounds like the beginning of a show.
Stand-Up Memories. I'm Peter Bales. This is Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and we've got an alumni of our show. He did so great the first time he was on, and he was on with his lovely wife, Leonora, and we had a great time. And now he's back, and we're gonna go to the
And they left her home so we can get to the
depth,
the nitty gritty now.
nitty and gritty. Well, listen, I want to introduce him. This is Joey Kola, and Joey Kola is a comedian for a long time, almost as long as we've been doing it. And he's working all over the place now, and he always has, and he always will. And he's got some cool stuff going on, touring with The Sopranos. We're going to start by asking him about that. And then we're going to go back into the past when things were not so wonderful.
It's so funny because to me, he's like a new guy. Meanwhile, we've been at it 45 years and he's been at it 43 years. Yeah.
That's the first time that's ever happened.
I wanted to be the first spit take on the show.
Don't worry about it.
That wasn't a real laugh.
No, it was. It was. There was a 546, 44 thing. Very good.
That actually reached us.
Give me another punchline. Hurry up.
Joey Kola, Long Island comedian, but he's a national headliner. He's an international headliner, going to Europe with The Sopranos. Joey,
And we made him have a spit take.
That's right.
That's not bad.
That's how
And
I've been laughing at you guys my whole life.
and he's the warm-up comic for Drew Barrymore. But let's start with The Sopranos. What's that show? You're all over the place with that.
It's great. It's called Comedy in Conversation with the Soprano or In Conversation with the Sopranos. I'm sorry, I got your phone wet. You got to
No, don't worry about it.
spit some rice on it. I don't got to. I'll spit some dry rice on it. So, yeah, I've been traveling since The Sopranos, even when it was on, the show was on, there was some kind of live show going on. And I know Steve Sharippa a long time from the Riviera Comedy Club in Vegas, which we used to do all the time. I met Steve 35 years ago, I guess, when that club opened, because Bud Friedman had the club at the Riviera, and he moved over to that other hotel, wherever it is now.
The Comac Motor Inn on Jericho.
Motor Inn.
No, that's not that hotel.
Should I?
No.
All right. I'll spit take it, man.
I know you
Careful with your Comac Motor Inn. So yeah, then I know Steve a long time from the Riviera. He's the entertainment director, Riviera Hotel, Riviera Comedy Club. He got The Sopranos. They started doing some live events, having band. Lon Bronson Band did it for a while. There was other people singing, but then we would set up Q&A, and some of the guys would just come along and do some sketches and this and that. And at one point, Gandolfini was with us there, Lorraine Bracco, Tony Sirico, Ventimiglia was there, all the different. But now it's whittled down because the show's been off the air. It's whittled down to me, Mike Imperioli, Sharippa, and Vinny Pastore when we go out in this country. But we just found out that we're doing 10 dates and 14 days in the UK. Because the show's big all over the world, and since pandemic, young kids have been watching it and binging like they fell in love with it. I mean, they're getting tattoos of Christopher, Mike's character on their leg and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm touring with them. We do it in this country and we're going to Europe. I warm up the Drew Barrymore show. I've been warming up TV shows for 31 years and doing stand-up for 44 years. And then I got my own stand-up shows, mostly East Coast stuff. I really don't do the the road too much because I like to go to bed early.
So when Joey started as a stand-up,
Watch you. Look how excited he gets. He knows he's going to diss me.
well, I'm going to bring back a memory. It's not easy to start in stand-up.
Yeah.
And Joey started with me ducking peanuts and popcorn, which is wrong to put on a table when you're having stand-up comedy, at the Ground Round, which was a chain restaurant.
Throw the peanut
They would.
Shells on the floor.
on the floor so if somebody gets up there to the bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Or when they puke, it absorbs it and you just sweep that away.
All right.
Yeah, how long we've been around when I first opened Governors and didn't know any better, we had the first New Year's Eve show. And we put noisemakers at every table
Yeah,
at a comedy show.
doesn't make sense.
Welcome to the,
Yeah, yeah.
you make that mistake once,
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want stage time and we want a few dollars. And you're actually thrilled to have the gig because you got to work out.
Well, preface it by saying there was a guy who used to book a lot of shows on Long Island named Lou Stevens. He was a guitarist, but he would book comedy shows all over every little back room, every pizzeria, and then the Ground Round chain. There was like 6 of them, 6 or 8 of them, where you could pick up $40 on a Tuesday.
And a cheeseburger if the cook has time.
That's right. That's right. So he booked a bunch of these, and I carried the sound. I'd set up the sound, and an Islip and Port Jeff, and wherever there were Ground Rounds, you wanted that gig. So I was doing it. I wasn't doing with you. I did the one in Port Jefferson that kind of ran me into trouble, which I guess is what you're.
Well, that's what I'm driving for. What did you say that made Lou Stevens, the booker, request a letter of apology?
I was doing the show.
I thought you were making a joke.
I'm not. It really happened.
No. I am doing my show, and the mayor's wife was in the audience. And I apparently said something. I don't know what I said. I was young and eager, and everything was a new bit at that point. I was trying out a million different bits. I don't know what I said, but I said something, and apparently she was sitting in the back, and she got up and left. So the next day, the mayor called Lou Stevens and said, "This guy, Joey, my wife was in the audience last night at the Ground Round." And first of all, what's the mayor's wife at the Ground Round?
Full stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's there at the Ground
Taking a
Round.
dinner, Charlie.
Yeah, I know, right? How much money? That's how you know Port Jefferson was in really bad shape. You know what I mean? The mayor's wife is eating at the Ground Round for free peanuts. So anyway, she told the mayor called Lou Stevens called me. Said, "You said something last night and you offended her, and I need you to write a letter and then give the letter to me so I can give it to him, or at least call the guy and leave a message or whatever." And so this was before cell phones and all of that. So I actually wrote a letter of apology, mailed it to Lou Stevens. Lou Stevens gave it to the mayor of Port Jefferson. So I can
Did
get to
you
work.
say?
I don't know what I
You
said.
can't tell us.
would
Make
never-
something up.
He would never. Well,
Well, to me, this story just says it all about how desperate we were to have a show
yeah.
and that they could make you do something. And it's demeaning.
Well, when I came back and told you right away, you went, "You apologized? You should never apologize for what you say on stage."
I did say that.
And I never lived it to this day. I don't live it down.
that's good.
I'm
not going to let you.
We have something in common. I never
And I
knew.
know this story. I'll start it. You pick it up. Another mayor was offended by Mr. Jackie Martling.
There was where the Crescent Beach Club is now was a big, beautiful old wooden bar. Had been there for 100 years.
Bayville.
Called Reinhardt's.
Yeah.
And I had a show there every Thursday night, and everybody came out. Reiser and Carol Leifer and everybody. I don't think Seinfeld came, but everybody else came. Thursday nights, we'd be packed in the winter, and it was so great. And it was a fake wall, and I had a big banner I made, and I brought the sound system, but there was a door in the fake wall. And I went up to start a show, and I guess they had a town meeting behind us, and I didn't know that. And they came out through the door. So I went away to Florida for a couple of weeks. I went on a Windjammer barefoot cruise, and I came back 2 weeks later. I got off the plane, and Red McCready picked me up at the airport. And I said, "All right, just tell me the worst news." And he goes, "We lost Reinhardt's." I said, "How can we lose Reinhardt's? We pack the place every Thursday night on an off night in the winter." He says, You told the mayor of Bayville he had a bald forehead from doing U-turns under the sheets. And that was the end of Rhino.
Was it enough to have you lose a gig?
This is 1979.
Yeah.
They weren't used to anything.
I guess they didn't care about the money, because packing it, nowadays, they will pack a place, that's enough to keep you no matter what.
But the mayor didn't have his hand in that.
Right.
Right. He was insulted,
Yeah. Wow.
So we're mayor.
We both had a.
You had it in
both had a
common.
bacon
We're
bag.
mayor chasers.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now,
At any point, have you met Drew Barrymore's mom?
No, I haven't. I don't think I'm only there in the studio.
I was so in love with her. She's a thin little frail woman.
Yeah, she used to waitress at the Comedy Store.
She's unbelievably brilliant. She worked at the ticket booth at the Troubadour when things were just getting going. And she'd hear the Stephen Stillses and the Jacksons all telling their stories about who they were with the night before. And that's when she decided she never wanted to be with a musician. But I interviewed her twice at the Friars Club for 2 hours at a time, and we never got to the point where she married John Barrymore. She's got a fascinating story.
Yeah. I've never met her. No.
What a character.
When we've just finished up season 5, we're going to go to season 6 in September. But
Is she as nice as it seems?
really so nice. So nice and caring, and she talks to the audience a lot. She doesn't just do the show and leave. She the show is amazing. We cry a lot, we laugh a lot, and everything in between. It's a very cathartic situation when you have the host of the show really taking.
She's all in.
She's all in twice a day. I mean, every single show we find the magic that is the audience. She knows that the audience is and their experiences and their energy is everything. So and I help facilitate that because I love it. I mean,
I'd love to be able to do anything twice a day.
Hey,
Oh,
but you've
That's
had a
good.
lot
I'm
of
sure- I'm
you've
sure
had a
you
lot of experience with this. You opened, you warmed up for
what
Rosie.
you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I started with Jon Stewart.
okay.
He had his before he had the political shows. He had WOR
Yeah, I
on
remember.
Channel 9.
Yeah.
It was just a talk show. Everybody was on that, and it was 1 year. That was '93. And then I did a show on the Food Network, I think, right after that, or something else in between. It was like some back studio place. And then Rosie started in '96, so '96 to 2002. After Rosie, I went right to Martha Stewart for 7 years. Then Rachael Ray for just over 12 years. And then
a lot of years piling up.
I'm
Oh,
going into my season 5 with Drew. So 31 years of doing warm-up, 44 doing stand-up, chasing you guys around like a puppy, looking for a snack. And Richie Minervini, who I heard you just had on the show, right?
We just
Wasn't he
had
just
Richard.
here? And then he flew out to Zimbabwe or something?
He had her.
Yeah.
He heard there was an open mic night.
So,
You
Joey,
guys are all my heroes. It's an
can you, can you tell the Martha Stewart, and I don't know it, but I've heard, so funny, there's a garbage can involved. There's a can, and you were in it head first, sticking out.
I wasn't in a garbage can. No, it was we did the show live at 11 o'clock on NBC. And we had a rehearsal. A yoga person was coming on the
Okay,
show.
this is it.
And they bought like this little, a thing you put against the base of the wall that you grab with your arms and you lean forward and put your head in it and then lean up against the wall to be upside down. So in rehearsal, before
So your feet go up. You're
feet
standing
go
on.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
and you're doing a handstand on this contraption, right? So in rehearsal, I'm there, Martha's there, the producers are showing Martha what to do, and they said, "Do you want to practice?" "Oh no. And when it comes time to do it, I'll do it then." So we go do a few more segments. The show has started. The audience is there. We're live. The energy is whipped up and everything. So they're in that area of the studio where the yoga stuff is set up, and they talking about yoga, and so the lady says, Martha, you want to hang upside down? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Joey, come over here and go upside down on this thing. So now here I am. I'm wearing khakis. I got white socks.
Not to be rude, but this was a few pounds ago.
Yeah. And you are rude. You are rude. But I'm fat. What am I going to do? Look how fat I am. I had pasta yesterday. I can't change it. So anyway, she's Joey, come on. She would always use me on the show as a sidekick. Joey, stir the soup. Joey, pet the dog. Joey, get the, so we became friends and she used me on the show, which I didn't mind. But this thing was, I didn't know how I was going to do it. And luckily I saw it in rehearsal. So I get in, I'm upside down, all the blood rushes to my head. I can't see. I'm a mess. My hair is
This is live on the air.
Live on the air. My shirt goes up over my face. My whole belly's hanging out. My ankles are hanging out. It was very embarrassing, but it got big laughs. It got really, and that's all I care about. As long as I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me. When the people are laughing, that's all I care
Job
about.
done.
Job done. Yeah, laugh at me, laugh. I'm a funny guy. What am I going to do? I'm not good looking.
Oh. How'd you get back down?
I leaned forward and fell, just fell. And Martha was laughing so hard that all she could say is, "We'll be right back." That's it. We went to commercial, and that was it. So I'm not even sure, if where you can see that or anything.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
At least the still,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That happened to Martha, and warming up these shows, a lot of crazy stuff happens, and people appreciate it. I got the stand-up world and the warm-up world kind of connected. Recently, Chris DiStefano was just on the show, and at the end of Drew's News, before we go to commercial, he points me out. He goes, "Before we go to commercial, I want to point out Joey Kola." He goes, "You remember you did a show on Showtime called White Boys in the Hood?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I watched that show as a teenager. Because of seeing you on there, I became a comedian. You inspired me." So, like you guys inspired me.
Nice.
That's great.
It's always nice when you hear that, because we've done a million of those shows, and back in the 80s, you guys know, I did 4 Caroline's Comedy Hours, 4 Evening at the Improv, like you guys did. All these different shows that helped to get us. Now, who knew that it was just going to be, click, do something goes viral, boom, you're doing arenas all over the place. So it's
The amount of ground you had to cover to even equate anywhere near one of those viral videos. It's impossible.
It's impossible. And it's, I still, comedy has changed. I still have great respect for the people who came up, put their time in, years-wise, not a year, put their time in, watched the pros, wrote, and then came up through the ranks.
I don't know if you hear it from the club owners, but they complain.
Yeah.
They complain about, "Oh, this guy had 8 million hits on TikTok, and I booked him, and he wasn't funny." I'm like, why would you complain to a comic?
Yeah.
They're taking work from you and me and him.
Well, the thing is, they don't pay for funny anymore. They pay for asses in the seats. And if
Which in truth has always been the case.
right,
Unfortunately, but they like to kid ourselves.
if they don't book the person, then the person's going to go to American Legion Hall and bring all the people will go there.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Recently, I talked to somebody who owns a club, and he said he had this person come in that brought their own opening act, big TikTok person. Thursday night, 2 shows, 7 and 9:30, right? Packs it out, 300 seats, packs it out, $25 ticket cash. They bring their opening act. The opening act comes out on stage, doesn't do any material, jumps in the audience and starts taking selfies with the audience while the music's on. Jumps back on stage, brings up a legit comic from the club. She does about 15 minutes. They're not buying her because they want to see the headliner, who's the TikTok star. She leaves. The other guy comes back on stage, introduced the TikTok headliner, comes on stage, says hello, crowd goes nuts, jumps in the audience, and is walking around doing selfies with the audience.
And they're thrilled because they know they're going to wind up on TikTok.
Right. So there's no act. The guy closes the show, says, "I'll see you in the bar," sells $1 million worth of merch, does it again at 9:30.
But Joey,
But no act.
I know.
No jokes written.
but
But if the audience is happy.
the audience is happy. They're walking out happy. because they saw the TikTok
That's true.
influence, so they wanted to sing. They're actually happy with that.
You know,
You know what the forerunner was to that? The soap opera show.
I was just gonna say, I don't say you guys for
Show.
I never
They-
thought of that.
all of a sudden they started doing that.
I used to MC those.
Me too.
Kelly Ripa, John Callahan,
Walt Willie, remember him?
Willie, and then Willie got into stand up because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You know, the place called the Comedy Palace up in north of Boston. The guy was so funny because I would do my show and it sold out 400 people, and I recorded CDs there, and I loved it. But he had a bigger room, a 700-seat room, and he would have the soap opera people there. And he said they literally had to put in less chairs because the women were so huge.
Wow.
And not only that, he said, and he told me this, I don't know if it's true, he said, I swear to God, when they start pulling up for the show and you look out the window, you see these big fat women getting out of their cars and taking off their wedding rings and putting them in the glove compartment. So they'll look single. And he said,
I've actually done that too.
yeah.
I mean, he said it's just not believable, but and they go up there and say hello and who saw the show Thursday, and the people are thrilled. They're seeing them live,
On the other side of that, Joey, I swear this is true. They booked me to open for Walt Willie at Rascals, a terrific comedy club in New Jersey. Walt Willie. Me for 20 minutes, and then Walt Willie packed. 7 men in a 400-seat room, and all the rest women, very heavy women mostly. So I go on. Walt Willie's not there yet, but they started late. Go on, and we'll send you a note when he's here. All right. I do my 20 minutes, no note. 25, no note. 30 minutes, note, stretch. 40 minutes, take a break. Walt is running late. So we take a break, and there's panic in the back room at Rascals. Walt Willie is stuck at a taping. He couldn't leave. His first responsibility is the taping of his show, the soap opera. So he's trying to get out. He can't get out. They decide that they have to cancel the show.
Because he's still in Manhattan.
He's still in Manhattan.
On the west side?
Yeah.
You're in West
Orange, New Jersey. Couldn't make it, even if they sped there.
Wow.
And so after 20 minutes of an intermission, you have to go up and tell the audience Walt is not coming.
Yeah.
Okay? So I go up and I say, I'm really, really sorry, but Walt is stuck at a taping. It was General Hospital, right? Wasn't it?
Right. Yep.
And he can't get away. But
Oh no, it wasn't at General Hospital.
what was it? Well, Days of Walt Willie.
The one with Susan Lucci in it.
The Edge of Wetness.
The edge.
That was a Carson line.
Susan Lucci. The Susan Lucci is in
Okay,
whatever that
we're
was.
assigning our producer to quietly find out what Walt Willie and what soap opera he was on before we go up here. Can we get that answer?
It was the one that Susan Lucci
Yeah,
was in.
okay.
They're all the same. Go ahead.
Now, so I go up and I announce to the audience he's not going to make it. And they all start laughing because they think it's part of the show and I'm being funny.
Right.
And I go, no. He's not going to make it. He's going to get another date here in the future, but you're all going to get your money back for tonight and line up. And then they get quiet, totally quiet. You could hear a pin drop. And you hear, you mean he's really not coming? No, he's not coming.
They're putting the wedding rings back on.
Yeah. So this happened. So I go, thank you, everybody. I'm sorry about what happened tonight. So I go off the stage and I start walking toward the back. And this woman jumps out of her seat, grabs me by my lapels, and says these exact words: I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Wow.
And I pushed her away and I went running back into the back room. But they were.
And 30 years later, he's still married to her.
Hi. No, but on
I think I've heard you tell people, but she was serious.
she was serious.
Yeah.
The anger that Walt Willie wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
He has first responsibility.
All My Children was the name of the show.
One of my children. That's
All my children.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
I wanted to make it look
Producer
like I
Michael's
thought
in
of
it.
it.
Yeah.
But I'm just a story that's coming into my head about Joey. Pick it up right here. Woman live comedy show starring Joey Kola with a knife.
Came at me. I was doing a catering hall.
I told you.
You're the least offensive person I've ever met.
I was doing, Billy Olette is a great DJ, and he's from the city. And he says, Joey, I got a big show at Russo's on the Bay and across Bay Boulevard in Queens. And I don't know, 300 people, they're going to be sitting down. I'm playing music. Can you do 20 minutes in between? I said, where, on the dance floor? Yeah, I got to call this mic, bang out 20 minutes, do it. Here's some cash. You're in bed by 10. Okay, great. I get there, and it's not 300 people. It's over 800 people, 800 to 1,000 people. The stage where Billy is high. It's a high stage.
Is this one of those swim clubs?
No, it's a catering hall. It was Russo's on the Bay, one of the most famous catering halls in New York ever. Everybody, they have the weddings with the car coming out and the fountains and all that stuff. It's really a big, elaborate, beautiful place. And so it was a big dinner for firemen, I believe, cops and firemen, and the cops were there and their wives, and they were decorated uniforms and this and that. 800 to 1,000 of them in this huge room. So I get there early. Of course, I'm there by 6. You want to eat? Man, I don't need your food. That's another thing. Whenever a gig says, "Oh, we feed you," I fed. Guess what? Up until now, I've done a good job feeding myself. I don't need your food. I don't need you to throw that in to sweeten the gig. You know what I mean? Just pay me the money. Let me do my time. How clean do I have to be? How much time you want?
We don't pay that much, but we feed you.
That's yeah. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Mr. Rips. Remember me? Of course. Dubonnet. So I get there, and he goes. He goes, well, go and push it back a little bit. They're still eating. So now they're eating and drinking, open bar. Everybody's drinking, eating. He's playing music. They're on the dance floor. Now, at like 9:30, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got a comedian here. He's going to do something like Joey Kola. So now everybody's drunk. And they're all whacked out of their heads. So
the last thing they want to do is stop.
They want to stop the momentum of the dancing and the eating and the conversing, and they're talking. And so I'm on hi guys, how you doing? Hey, you ever noticed? And you could feel the air is just being sucked out. It's just horrible. So I did a couple of bits and got a couple of, not laughs, titters maybe, And I look in the back of the room, and this very tall woman, she had beautiful brown hair. She was big shouldered, but she was in good shape. Had a white dress on, and her shoes were off. So that's how you tell. I partying. She looked like she had been dancing, and she was in her mid-40s, I guess.
You're pretty sure she was a woman?
Yeah, pretty sure, but she was tall. She's walking toward the stage at a brisk pace like this, with her arms folded like this. So everybody else is seated at least, and I got their attention, but she's walking and she's right at me, and the dance floor was pretty long. She hits the dance floor and starts picking up the pace and coming at me. I go, hey, lady, why don't you have a seat like everybody else? She goes, because I hate you. And she's got a butter knife in her hand, like this. And she goes like this. That was my biggest laugh of the night. The audience is cracking up. So I go, hey, back off. She goes, no, I hate you. And now she starts chasing me. Now I run off the dance floor, stage dance floor, and I'm running around.
Was she being funny?
No, she hated me. She wanted to kill me. So I run around the DJ thing, and I'm running through the room as I got a call to the mic. And I'm saying, would somebody want to get her off of me, please? Is there any maitre d's in here or whatever? Now they're laughing like crazy because this woman is chasing me around the room. And they're falling over. What's his name? As I know she is. So they're laughing, and I'm running around, and she's physically chasing me. So she chases me, and they finally grab her. They get the knife. It was a butter knife, but they hid the knife away from her. As they're doing that, she runs up to me. She gets near me, grabs the mic out of my hand, and we're right next to the DJ booth, and that's where the bus boys had the bus bins, with the dirty glasses and plates, and there was water. She took the mic, my friend Billy's mic, threw it in the dirty water. Now she destroyed the mic. So now they're mad. And he gets on the mic. Somebody wanted to, I'm pressing charges. Now it's a whole big thing. They take her out. They give me a mic back and they say, does anybody want to see Joey continue? Like 10 minutes after all this calmed down. I said, Billy, didn't I earn my money yet? He goes, hey, just do 10 more minutes. So I grab another mic. I go on to do 10 more minutes. I swear to God, here she comes again, running from opening the door this way towards me. And now the audience is telling me, look out, look out, look out. Look, and there she is again. So now they tackle her down onto like the dance floor and they lift her up and then they get her out of there. I said, you guys have been great. Thanks a lot. Good night. I said, Billy, give me my money. I'm out of here. And that was it.
Oh, what a show.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I got stories like that. I
wouldn't imagine that anybody that was in that audience would still be telling that story.
He was the wife of some captain, a captain of.
But you know, somebody says, oh, I went to a comedy show last night. Oh, we went to a comedy club. Well, I got a story for you. We were, you know.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of that
The
stuff.
captain's wife chased the comic with a butter knife. I mean, that's.
I was coming back. Joey Novick used to book a club called Rosebuds up by Bear Mountain. So we do the show, get paid. I'm coming down the Palisades Parkway, and a car starts bumping me from behind.
What?
Yeah, and then it went in front of me and slowed down and everything. And I went around him and beeping at him. So finally he slows all the way down and to where I really couldn't get up behind him. He jumps out of the car and goes, give me money and I won't give you a ticket in my car. He had a blue light on his dashboard just going around. Give me some money and I won't give you a ticket. I'm a cop. I go, you're no cop. I back up, boom. I go down to the next rest stop. In the middle there's like a gas station at the Palisades.
Right.
I pull over. There's a real cop there with like 10 people giving him stories about the same guy. So I said, he just got me again. Go get this guy. That happens. I get in my car, fill in a report, get in my car, come down the Palisades, go over to George Washington Bridge. About 2 o'clock in the morning now, 2:30. Summer night. I'm in the center lane going towards from the George Washington Bridge, going the Cross Bronx, going to the Trogsneck Bridge. And in the corner of my right eye, I see a car come flying down, a copper color 4-door Lincoln, like 83 Lincoln, those boxy ones.
Yeah.
Comes flying down off Jerome Avenue exit, comes just in front of me like by 20 yards, 1,000,000 miles an hour, comes off the ramp, smashes into the divider, across all 3 lanes, smashes into the divider. I hit my brakes, I skid. The guy in the left lane hits his brakes, and the guy in the right lane hits his brakes. A guy jumps out of the car, like a tall man wearing a beige suit, mustache, dark hair, gets out of the car and comes to the back of the car, pulls out a Magnum and goes boom, 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 blows 3 shots into the back of the car that he was just in to shoot the driver, right? So me being a New Yorker, what am I going to do? Let me just try to get around this to get out of here. So the guy left to right of me went around. This guy got him behind. I went around it, but I had my window down. I'll never forget the sound that a Magnum makes, because it was when later I look and there's a silvery, shiny gun with a big barrel. It was a pistol, but it was a big barrel. Boom, boom, boom. He blew 3 shots into that, and at that point there was cops coming down the ramp on the other side of the Cross Bronx, cops and everything everywhere, and I just got around it. So as I got out of there,
This is all one trip home.
This is one trip home. Yeah.
Did you look in the paper the next day to see?
I did. I didn't see anything, but I'm thinking it was like some kind of undercover
2
situation.
episodes that were not linked. They were not linked.
The only thing that linked them was that it happened to me
Right.
on the way home from that gig. Both of those things happened.
So all of you young people out there thinking about going into stand-up comedy, this is why you do it.
Yeah, and get a car.
TikTok is easier. I was going to say earlier, you know, we all started back that, like, to this day, like, I'll be going somewhere and I got the GPS.
Yeah.
It says turn in 100 feet or turn in a quarter mile. I still miss my turns. How we ever got anywhere, we'd have horrible directions. And if you missed a turn, you couldn't make a left turn in New Jersey. And you just go and go and go, and then you'd have to get off and turn around, but you couldn't turn.
And you got to leave earlier now with the GPS than we did then.
Because it's so crazy.
Traffic craziness. It was.
We're having Joey back. We're having absolutely. We're gonna
done already.
at the
I
time.
still got to tell you the Rodney stories and Richie Minervini
We
stories.
gotta have that. You're gonna be we're gonna call you a regular.
I was love to be a regular on your show.
Now, but you know, we've got to end with a terrific example of before GPS. There was an agent who gave directions to two of our friends.
I think we tell this story every show.
Tell it.
Well, if it's the same story, I
It
don't
is.
know. But King Broder had a Jersey gig
Rest in peace.
for Myers and maybe Vince D'Antona. And they said, how do we get there? And he said, go over the George Washington Bridge and ask. You can't make that up.
Can you say that again real quick?
You know what's really crazy about King Broder? He was so annoying. He had jet black hair at the age of 85 before he died.
Died.
And he was so pompous
Yeah.
and so mobbed up and everything. But he jump-started Rodney back into show business. And he never talked about that, never bragged about it. And Rodney finally put out a book in like 2005 about how, you know, he wanted to go back into show business. He wasn't going anywhere. And he went to King Broder and said, give me a job. And he says, I can't give you a job. I don't know, you know, I don't know what you can do. And he said, well, let me just come with you. Let me just come with you. So he would ride with King Broder to these shows. And one show he went to, the comedian didn't show up. He said, let me go up there. Let me go up there. And Broder said, okay.
Wow.
And he went up and he killed and he came off. And the name of the chapter was, why didn't you tell me you were funny? And then Broder helped him and got him work after that. I'm like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, but what year? You said you didn't mean 2005. What?
No, that's when Rodney finally wrote a book.
Oh, that's when the book
and
came
put
out.
some of these stories. Like when I was with him, he would tell these stories. I go, why wouldn't you tell these stories on Carson? He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to do the jokes, the jokes, the
We
jokes.
are way over time, but but we're having Joey back, and
When?
another spit
When
take.
you having me back?
When you start behaving yourself.
Oh my God, I can't not spit take.
This has been so much fun. Joey Kola, not warm-up guy,
KOLA.
Kola, warm-up guy, first and foremost forever, a stand-up comedian. And
Yeah,
touring-
comedian comes before one.
comedian
Yeah,
comes
right.
first and foremost.
Always.
And also touring with the Sopranos and all over the world now. And a terrific, most importantly,
Not only
terrific
not
friend
only is that
forever.
a terrific
Friend
gig
forever.
friend
and a
forever.
famous, we're famous people, the greatest show in the world, but your only job is to be funnier than Steve Sciarretta and Vinny Pastore.
It's
and
actually
Mike.
really pretty funny. It's a well-written show. But I got
Oh, it's an actual show.
Oh, it's a show. I do 15 minutes in front of stand-up. I introduce the video of their characters. Then we do 14 questions about their shows, about the show and their characters. Then we turn the mics over to them, and I run the Q&A.
But who asks the questions? The audience or you?
Later on, the audience does. The first 14, I ask from the stage.
Ah.
Yeah, we got set questions from the internet, you know, that people want to hear the answers to. So they have the answers to that, and then we turn the mics over to them.
And then at the very end, somebody gets whacked. That's the way it is. Okay, another spit take.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
Don't make me laugh like that.
This is our new home for stand-up memories. It's called Drake Media Studios.
Donna Drake.
Donna
I
Drake?
love.
We're so brand new, we haven't even come up with an insulting name for the place.
No, but we love Donna Drake, and this is Drake Media Studios, right dead center in the middle of Long Island.
Right in the middle.
And we
I
thank
love
you.
We started off with
Donna.
Richie Minervini and Joey Kola.
Joey Kola. And onward and upward, I want to thank our guest, Joey Kola. As always, Jackie the Joke Man Martling.
Yes.
Legend. He's a legend. And I am Peter Bales. And we will see you again next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
very much. Thank you very much. Good job, Joseph.
Thanks. That goes quick.
That was fun. Back there, and action was the cue.
Could we start the show with me going like this?
Sure. We already did. We used to.